What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Termite Off-Road. We've got termite in the shop today. And as you know, termite is for sale. We have not done an official listing or anything like that. We wanted to get these rockers fixed first and then get it all clean because it's dirty just from, we live in the country. All of our vehicles are always dirty. So we're going to get it cleaned and detailed and do some good pictures and good description and all that kind of stuff. But this is kind of the big thing that we've got to get done on termite before we do that, and that is the rockers need addressing. So this one here is the worst. This is the one we will be fully replacing. You can see it's there all the way to here. You can see daylight just all the way from the front to right here, and then another hole here. And I think the back part's okay, but it's going to be way faster just to replace the whole thing than it is to patch that, all this kind of stuff, and chasing it down. It's going to be a lot faster just to cut that whole thing out and just put a whole new one in. So that just came in the mail. I'll show you that in a second. But all we got to really do over here, we'll take these seals out. Your pinch weld is going to be right up under that. I'll show you all that when I get into there. And, you know, back here, all the same. And it's basically just going to be drilling out spot welds. It seems like a lot more work, but it's just way easier just to, in a situation like this, just to go through there drilling out spot welds, break that whole piece off, and put a whole new piece on. But it's going to be way faster than what it would be for you to cut all that stuff out and weld, because in my experience, that metal's probably thin. You start trying to weld that stuff in, it's going to blow out on you, and it's just, you know, and then you got to do finish work and all that kind of stuff. It's way easier just to spend a little more money up front and just get a whole new rocker, which we have. So this came from BJ's. It is galvanized and super beefy. Like, let's see if I can get it out without slicing myself with it. But yeah, all galvanized. This is for the left-hand driver's side. And according to BJ's, other ones that you buy don't have the correct bends right here, that the body lines are not bent the same. Trusting that this one is. I haven't put it up there to compare it yet or anything like that, but it looks right. So this just came in the mail. So anyway, we're going to, thing's heavy. It's a unit for sure. And it's galvanized, which is very cool. I believe these were too, maybe from the factory. But so anyway, I don't have time to get started on this at the moment. I'm just kind of introing this video out. But hopefully tomorrow afternoon, I'll be able to get out here and at least start pulling apart, get the door seals, the weather stripping, get all that stuff out and away, get the carpet pulled back, and we'll begin the process of drilling spot welds. And that's going to be the majority of the work, I believe, is that. It's just usually that's what it is. So we're going to do that. I will film some of that. I don't think you guys want to just sit here and watch me repetitively. When I get this stuff stripped out, I'll check back in with you guys and kind of we'll start going through a few of them. I'm not going to bore you with just endless body work on that because it's fairly repetitive. The other side is not nearly as bad. We've got one spot. Let's see where it is. Right here. We got one spot right here. And I'm just going to cut out from here to here probably. And hope and pray that that will be all that is on that. The inner rocker, the flat spot that goes on the inside on this side, has a pretty good spot as well that we will be replacing, but that's just going to be regular old flat sheet metal. There's nothing real special about it. It's just pretty much a flat deal down with a lip on it. And it's only about a 6-inch spot. It's one secluded spot right there in the middle. So when we get the rocker off, we'll replace that spot and then put the new rocker back on, get it all welded in, paint it all to match, and be good to go on that. So, all right. Well, yeah, stay tuned. All right, guys. Well, we got the carpet all pulled back, and they're still sanding this thing from When we got it, termite originally came from Panama City Beach 6 years ago, and it's still knocking sand out of it. But and some of that may be from us too, who knows. But anyway, the way these rockers are designed, you can see this notch here is for that middle pillar. So I was thinking I'm gonna have to drill all these spot welds front and back to get this whole thing out. But when you measure this thing, it actually is a little short, and it measures out actually to where if in here you're not gonna drill this plate out where it lips up. We're just gonna cut it in a straight line across there and then butt that lip to the pre-existing one. So they've also got it to where right here you've got an edge for the pillar, and the rocker, the original rocker runs under there. Well, this one is notched, as you can see here, and the measurement from, let's see, this, you kind of, you can see it on the camera, there's another edge here. So the measurement from that line to that line is exactly what they've cut this one to, from here to there. So in other words, it's not gonna go under that pillar. So we'll have to cut, what I'm gonna do is cut about 3/4 of an inch in here and cut along that line, and then we'll fit, I don't know, I'm hoping maybe I can slide the rocker in there to where we can just stitch weld that and finish it off, and it'll look nice and clean, and it'll all be under the seal anyway, the weld will be, so you would really never know that it's been replaced. So I don't know, I don't really know. All I know is that I'm about to put a cutting wheel on the grinder, and we're just gonna cut this piece out. I'm gonna give myself plenty of material that I can trim back and do when we actually get to the fitting process. But yeah, it's we'll see. It's just gonna be get in there and get to cutting. So I'll probably just time lapse you guys on some of it so that I can just concentrate and work. But I'll check back in with you probably once this is off. All right, y'all, we're almost there. I got one more cut to go up to the cut there, and it should come off. I've pried around the edge, it's broke loose everywhere. I need my Sawzall. It's in that trailer right there. So, but I'm not complaining. We have needed this rain bad. It's been really dry here lately. And this is perfect shop working weather right here. It's not hot anymore, the rain cooled it down. These are the days that I like just getting out here working. But I may just make a run for it here in a second and get my Sawzall. We'll make that one more cut and this thing should come off, and we'll find out what's underneath, what's hiding in the rocker. All right, this is a kind of cramped spot. I don't know how well this is gonna go. Gross. this little shelf here is part of the bottom rocker. We'll come through and separate it off. But you can see that there was not much left. Yeah, that was gonna be way better. All right, well, I'm gonna just spend some time cleaning out all the extra ends, get that off the bottom, undone. This spot welds across the bottom. So I'm just gonna go through there separating them. Get everything kind of cleaned out to where we can start test fitting this thing. I'll check back in with you guys then. All right, y'all. End of day one. It is about 90% there. It just needs now little light tweakings. The overlap that I had left on each of these ends to be able to weld to underneath will not work. It binds it up, won't let it slide all the way on. So I ended up having to cut everything. So it will be stitch welded in there. But it's just kind of free hanging, but we will be able to kind of squeeze that together. We've got pretty good alignment right there on the back. That always fit pretty decent. So we'll just weld right up that seam there. Up front, we got a little more tweaking to do. But you see it's got to come in just a little bit more up here. But we are very, very close. Very close to meeting. Up front, not too bad. So I still got to cut this bottom strip off of the old rocker. That will let the rocker kind of roll a little bit more and fit better. You will have some spot welds back here in the back on this plate. I accidentally cut into it. I'll weld that back up when I clean it all up. Well, we'll put rust bullet on what we don't cut out. We're definitely cutting this out, that big hole. We'll slice that out and put a new piece of metal in there. And the rest, like I said, along the edges, we'll clean that up real good and put rust bullet on it. But the panel fits pretty well. I'm very impressed. I would compare it to like on the Mopars, that fits good like an AMD panel. I haven't had to cut anything on the new one, and I don't think I will have to. So anyway, I'm out of time for the day, so I'm gonna call it a day. This is what the dirt and clods that have fallen out on me as I've been under there working. All right, guys, it is day 2 of this project. I'm back out in the shop again this afternoon. Yes, I am wearing the same clothes. Unless I get like sour and stinky, I usually just wear the same clothes the next day to keep the laundry load to a minimum, because I can pile up some dirty work clothes pretty quick. But anyway, so today's goal, it is a Friday afternoon. My goal this afternoon is to get this final fit, which is very, very, very close. It just still needs a little bit more tweaking to roll under a little bit and then go in maybe 1/8 of an inch, not very much. Oh gosh, I almost died right there on that old rusty. This one, at this junction right here, it is literally the paint. That's all that was holding this together. There is just nothing left of that old rocker. So anyway, we got pretty good fitment in here. We're just, you can see that distance right there is all we gotta come in just that little bit more. And we got a lot of cleaning to do in here from rust that has spread around. But so that's all we gotta come in, just that little bit more, and we'll be good there. And that's just gonna be a matter of cleaning out old stuff front and back, just to make way for that one to be able to go in there a little bit more. We may have to trim on the new rocker a little bit. So far I haven't had to. But anyway, so my goal today is get that final fit and then take it back off and fix the inner rocker, that big rust spot that is here. And I'm probably gonna use this section here to do so. It's still in really good shape. That was the inside, but it's already got a 90-degree bend in it. So I think I'm just gonna cut my patch out of this up here and utilize that 90 to be my patch for the inner rocker. That way I don't have to go cut some sheet metal around here and bend it and do all that kind of stuff. I'll just cut that one out. So I'm probably just gonna check back with you guys once I'm done doing that, because there's not really a whole lot to see there. So I want to get that done, and then I want to get the holes drilled in my rocker panel and on the body where there's going to be spot welds. And then we're going to treat the rust that is on the inner rocker front to back today. So that's my goal today. You got to have all that done. Okay, y'all, we got one tacked in there. Got the first big one tacked in. Gonna fill in the other one. I had to cut out a little more than I thought I was going to. You can see this open gap right here where ended up cutting out a little bit more, because when I was taking off the bottom spot welded piece, it was just cracking across there. It was just so thin and rusted. That's just a little light rust there. That's nothing major, but the more we got to the back, it just got worse and worse and worse. So well, guys, I think I'm about done for the day. We've got the inner rocker all replaced and welded in. I'm not even gonna worry about grinding the welds down, because I mean, it's inside the rocker. But got rust bullet on them, all sealed and coated up, you know, fairly high, 2 coats, and inside all the nooks and crannies in there and all that kind of stuff. So that should give that lasting protection inside of there. And then we've got all of our spot weld holes drilled across the bottom and the top. We've got our holes drilled on the supports in here where they need to be, right here on this little bracket. There's a few there, and then on that flat spot there's a few going up there. There's a couple up there on that bracket, but they're all drilled, cleaned, and ready to weld in. So, but I want to give that rust bullet, you know, overnight to really cure good and dry. All right, guys, I lied. I kind of got bored yesterday afternoon, and I came out and fitted in and got it tacked in. It's not fully welded, but I do have some tacks. You can see here, got a couple of spot welds in, just enough to hold it in place. Tacked a little bit there. Couple spot welds just tacked. Nothing fully welded yet. But that's mission number 1 today. We're gonna get this thing fully welded in. You know, doing these spot welds, it's not hard, but you do want to pay attention to it. I try to use clamps and just take them one at a time, and clamp next to it, get it squeezed in there tight to make sure you're getting good contact on the inside, and you know, and just move on down the line. So there, you know, you're not stitch welding, but you do want to make sure that both of your plates are touching, everything's clean, so that you can get a good tight weld on it. And so that's kind of what we're doing. Just and I'll tack it and then move my clamp where I can get in there and put a good weld on it. Move down the line. I pulled a muscle in my back the other day. I don't know how, it just hurts. And it's making me move kind of slow. see we got a tacked seam. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but the front one's done the same way. It's weird because there's the plate on top, and you got a little metal underneath, so you're directly trying to weld down into a crack. But it's a good solid weld all the way across. We'll do a little grinding on it, clean it up. It's all covered up anyway. It's covered up by the floor seal right there, so you're not even going to see any of this. So my main focus is just solid, like just a good solid weld. I'm not worried too much about cosmetic because it is going to be buried underneath the floor, the door seal and all that kind of stuff. What's been funny to me is that, like, when I first got termite, one of the first things I did, maybe the first thing I did, was I started cutting out, like, these quarters right here were just gone. And so I cut them out, replaced them, and then up in here inside the fender well, which would be right up in here, was all rotted out. And I rebuilt, you can't see it, I don't get this carpet to stay up. This was like one of the first things I did. It's also a seam sealer, but you see where I spray painted it blue, and it seemed like I rebuilt this whole panel right here is all new, all the way up to that door seal there, floor seal. But all of this rebuilt, reconstructed. That's a horrible video, I know, but anyway, that whole area right there I rebuilt. You can see the rust bullet on the pinch welds here. That was from me rebuilding all of that. And because I rebuilt it, put rust bullet on it, and then put seam sealer back how the factory had it done, and painted it so it looks sloppy and nasty under there, but it's the way it was from the factory. But that was one of the first things I did. I had rust on both sides there, both quarter panels, and that started the journey with termite, was fixing rust in these areas. And now we're getting ready to sell termite 6 years later, and I'm still finishing, not still working on rust, finishing the last bit of rust on termite so we can send him off better than he was when we got him. And whoever gets termite next will be able to continue that journey on and do with it what they feel he needs to have. But yeah, I remember, and I'm reminiscing, guys, forgive me, but coming home, I remember Judah was little. Let's see, he just turned 13. He was 6 years ago, so he was what, 7 at the time. And he was sitting in the back seat, and there was a hole in the roof. I don't know if we can get up there. I can show you kind of where it was. So right here, you see this primer spot. That was a hole where this screw, I believe it was, where this screw had rusted around. And we were driving home from Panama City. Let's see if I can do this without falling. We were driving home from Panama City in it, and I was driving. Obviously, I was driving. Judah's in the back seat. Andrew was following, and it was pouring rain. And I remember Judah saying, "Dad, I'm getting soaking wet back here." And I looked back, and water was just, there was no headliner in it at the time, and it was just pouring, just dumping water through that hole on him. So I had to pull over and move him to the other side, and there was nothing else I could do. And so that hole, the quarter panels and stuff, was some of the first things I did when I got termite home. And we put a rear main seal in the old 360 because it was leaking like a sieve. Every time I stopped and got gas, I had to put a quart of oil in it. But yeah, we've had some fun times in old termite. He's definitely going to be missed. But anyway, I just had to reminisce there for a second. I'm going to get back to work and just get this right here welded up. Then we'll get the fun one that I've been kind of dreading, is getting underneath and welding over my head, because I hate welding above my head. Well, guys, I ran out of welding wire. I had to go get some wire. And I don't guess I've showed you guys, but put a camper shell on date night. It's been on there a couple of weeks. I'm kind of trying it out, but I think I like it. I found it locally on the other side of town. I was heading to a paint job, and I seen it in the guy's backyard really about a year ago. It's been a while, and I've been trying to catch him at home, and finally did a few weeks ago, and gave me a really good deal on it. It was disgusting, and I actually was doing a video on me cleaning it up and putting it on, and in the process of pressure washing, getting that really cool, satisfying time lapse, I didn't realize the stand had fell over. And so I was like, well, I kind of got frustrated and didn't film anything of it, but yeah, so I'll share that with you guys. But anyway, I'm back at the shop now. I went and got some wire, gonna get it spooled into the machine, and we'll finish up welding these rockers out. I'm not much of a overhead welder, but we're getting there. We're getting it done. These fit pretty tight under here. I don't really need this clamp, but I'm doing it anyway because any little bit you can get helps. Well guys, this side is cleaned up and fully welded out. So that's gonna be a wrap on this side. As far as welding and fabbing goes, I think we're good. So now we get to do the parts I'm kind of dreading because I don't know, after looking at this side, once we cut this little spot out, I don't know, I hope it don't just try to blow out on me when I try to weld the new one in. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to kind of look at this thing and see, because this rocker here was literally like the paint was the only thing holding it together. It was gone completely. But you can see how it's bubbling around. I mean, it was shot. So you can tell by the way that sounds when it hits the floor, there's not much left. This is all what I cut up on the rockers to use for my patches on the other side, because the top it was still good. So over here, our spot, it's not that big. Where is it? Right here. I got one spot right here. So you can see by the size of my hand, it's not a big spot. It comes back to here, so we'll probably cut it just, you know, a good area and patch it. And I'm hoping the metal is still, I don't feel any like bubbles really, like, you know, telling me that the metal, like how that one was bubbled on the outside. So maybe the metal's all still good. I don't know. I'm nervous, but I'm gonna, and even around the hole, it still feels solid. Whereas that one, you could just push around the holes and it would just crumble. So I'm gonna take that as a sign that this metal here is still decent enough that I can weld to. So, all right, well, I'm gonna get some straight edges out, mark me a good straight line, and we're gonna get this baby cut out. We'll be done with the fab part. Well, we got our piece cut, and I cut it out of the old rocker. She'll sit in there just like that. We'll weld her up. My gaps on the ends are a little bigger than I would like, but I don't think it'll be a problem. Get it eventually. And this is the piece I cut out of it. See there, so gross. But all the inner rocker in there looked a lot better than the other side. It was all kind of clean. So it's weird how one side will be way worse than the other. I don't know, but anyway, I'm gonna weld that little patch up and grind her smooth, and we're ready for paint primer, finally. You can see we got her welded up. I'm just gonna slap a little run a filler on this. To kind of help smooth her out. Well, that side's slicked up. So it's ready for primer. While I was in between coats there, letting that filler dry up, kind of come over here and got things cleaned up a little bit more. Got my holes marked here for the door seal. But everything's cleaned up and it is ready for primer. So that's all the time I got today. Tomorrow afternoon we'll get out here and we'll tape off. We'll shoot a couple of coats of epoxy. Probably let that set the rest of the day and overnight. And then Monday we'll paint. All right, well, guys, I didn't film it because I didn't think it was that interesting, but we are primed here. And we are primed over here. I'll film painting it tomorrow for those who want to watch that part of it, but we are all epoxy prime, top and bottom. And that's pretty much it. All I can do today, I just turn pressure down low, tighten my fan in, and just kind of put 2 good coats of epoxy on there. Y'all, it's Sunday afternoon. I'm kind of bored. I got all this primed. It's good and dry. And this side I'm not going to paint with automotive paint. I'm just going to spray paint it and try to blend the patina in. I'm not too worried about it. I honestly think I could leave it just primer and whatever. But we've got our combination of navy, classic navy, and flat black. So we'll see what we can do. There's a mosquito out here driving me nuts. There's no science to this, but you kind of want to do the opposite of a good job in terms of finish. If that makes any sense. I know you watch and say, Wes, you didn't clean off nothing. You don't want to clean nothing off. You want it to kind of be rough. All right, I'm gonna let that set a second, cure good, and then we'll hit it with maybe a Scotch pad or something, kind of weather it just a little bit, and touch it up from there. There's no exact science to this. But less is more. If that makes any sense. I can live with that. Because the original has some primer white, primer gray showing through in spots. We got a little bit showing through here. I'm gonna let that set a few minutes and dry good, and then we'll hit it with some matte clear. All right. I mean, it's cleaner than the rest of it. Once we wash it, I think it will. It shows up on camera, but in real life, you literally cannot tell. So what I've done all around it. So just as far as what all we have fixed in the past when we got termite, I showed you the little hole in the roof. Both quarter panels down low have been replaced, and those were 6 years ago. And I did the same, matter of fact, the same cans of paint that I just used. Well, not the flat black, but the blue It's the same paint I did on this. Epoxy primer, flat black and blue mixture, and that was 6 years ago. And they're still look just like they did. But we fixed the rust there. I showed you the rust down in there on both sides that we fixed. Both quarter panels down low got replaced. Up front, there was a big hole here, like a rust hole here and here. There was rust holes across the top. So Andrew and I pulled the windshield out, replaced all that metal, replaced this metal, and touched this up with that same cans of navy and flat black. I mean, same procedure you just saw me do is what I did there, and it's held up for 6 years. It looks fine. And then of course we did these holes the other day where those were there. I think that's about it. The floors are all good through termite. There's never been any floor damage. But yeah, this lower quarter was replaced. Fixed the hole here that I left primer. That's epoxy primer from 6 years ago. It's got clear coat on it, but there was a big hole somewhere around this light. I remember pulling the light out and replacing the metal, and I left it primer for effect to keep it, you know, make it look patina a little bit more. So there was a lot of little rust holes on termite when we got it. Yeah, that's how termite's been done. So we'll paint this rocker tomorrow, and we'll get there to a detail. Well, it's paint day, guys. I've gone back and forth on this. Should I just take flat black and blue and paint the whole rocker the way I've been touching up around? But I have the factory Chrysler dark Baltic blue. I have some here from whenever we did the Hemi swap. I painted the engine bay, painted the inner fender wells and under the hood and all of that with the factory blue. So I have it, and figured, hey, it's a brand new rocker. Why not just go ahead and put good paint on it? So what I'm gonna do though, I am gonna do things a little different. Usually you do this inside of door jambs, inside of trunks, stuff like that, just because you want the sheen to match. But I'm gonna actually mix my clear in with the base coat. And you can do this in multiple ratios depending on what kind of shine you want. I'm not looking for a crazy glossy shine because nothing else on termite is crazy glossy. So I'm gonna start with what my plan is. I'm just gonna do like a 10% clear coat. I'm gonna mix my base. 10% to that is gonna be clear. We're gonna shoot it. If it's good, we're gonna leave it. If it's too glossy, then I'll probably just take some of that Rust-Oleum matte clear and dust it just to kind of knock the sheen down a little bit, and it'll be fine. I mean, again, one of the many graces that you have with a patina vehicle. So I'm not gonna mix up much base. It doesn't take a lot. And what the heck, we'll go. We do gotta do 3 coats, so I guess we'll mix what we'll go in line. We do gotta do 3 coats. We're gonna do 3 coats on it, so we won't have that much waste. All right. Is gonna be a half, so go right there. And we're gonna go ahead and mix that up, so that's good. Oh, I think somebody just had a wreck. Sorry guys, I'm back. So I was mixing paint and heard like a wreck. Like, you know what a car wreck sounds like. And in front of the church, we have a deep ditch. And I guess this lady, I'm gonna have to assume she was on a phone or something, but she ran off in the ditch and nailed the culvert that is over one of our drives out. And there's body parts, car body parts, everywhere, coolant everywhere. And she was pulled over. And so I was walking here to make sure she was okay. She drives off. She just left. And left. I mean, walk up here and show you, she nailed. But our road is kind of narrow. People come through here fast all the time. I don't know if that's what she was doing, but her car is not okay. And she just left. Like, crazy. I've always wondered, I was like, somebody one day, because our road is such a narrow, curvy, hilly little road, and you can see she straight up nailed the culvert. Here's her inner fender, insulation, emblems, and you can see the coolant in the road where she got it back curved, and she was pulled over right here. And I come out here, like I said, just to say, are you okay? And she just left. But she left a lot of her car here. Golly. Crazy, man. She licked this thing, dude. You can see that's a pretty deep ditch. Ooh, I don't know. Her car is not okay though, so I don't know. It's up to her, I guess. Okay, guys, I'm back from all the action. I don't know where that lady left to, but she's gone and her car is not okay. I went back and watched the video. You can hear it happen. You can hear her hit the culvert on the video. But looking at it, it looks like she went off the road way before and rode the ditch for a while. Man, I bet that knocked her block off, hitting that culvert. Jeez. And I don't know what she was doing. I'm not saying this is what she was doing, but we have people come through here flying all the time, cell phones in hand, and it's just like I've always said, I'm waiting for the day. And that's what I thought. In my head, it sounded like she was out there flipping. But I guess she's okay. All right, we're gonna go to 10% here. This is not there's no real right or wrong here on mix and clear in. It's just a matter of, it just really, the amount is, all it's gonna change is your gloss. That looks pretty good. It's gonna be darker than the what's on there because the clear coat being so faded and milky. But we're gonna get it untaped and see what it looks like. Again, in my opinion, when you talk about patina stuff like this, you got a lot of grace. I mean, long as it don't just And sometimes even if it does just stand out, it still looks cool. It's all in how you do it, but you know, that's what has always been fun about termite, and that's what will always be fun as long as it stays this way, is if this was like a concourse restoration, you know, number one, I wouldn't be just spraying it in my shop wide open like this. I would be spending way more time. And, you know, with something like this, you can kind of just touch up stuff and just enjoy it. You just drive it and enjoy it. So that's the third coat. I'm gonna call it right there, I think. So far the sheen looks perfect. It's not too glossy, but it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. So I'm gonna let that be that, I believe. That spot up. That's pretty different. But when you step back, it really, it's different. I don't know if it's a bad different, but it is different. I think I'm gonna tape off the door. I'm a little light right here. It was hard to spray in there because that door was open. So I'm gonna touch that spot up. And I'm a little light right here in the, see if you guys can see it, right here in the front corner. I'm a little light. Both of those were hard because the doors. So I got right, so I can't see my finger, right in here and right in here. Just a little bit on that top edge. I'm gonna dust that. And well, it's a little noticeable right there on that rocker, but that under bottom fender is dirty too. So maybe when I wash it, it won't be too bad, but it is noticeably blue. You can see there, it is different, but at the same time, I just don't know if it's worth trying to weather it or nothing. I think when this is all clean, maybe it'll look a little bit better, but I don't think it's different enough to try to fool with it and put that work in myself. But this side blended great. You can't even tell we did anything over here, but yeah, I got termite up here. Got the hood latch popped. I'm gonna give it a detail. Clean the engine bay up, wash the outside. It is dusty. The truck is dusty. The termite is really, really dusty. So we're gonna get it washed, detailed, inside, engine bay, everything, and do a formal posting, listing on some of the Wagoneer pages on Facebook for sale. So I wanted to get it cleaned up though before we did that. And you know, I was thinking, the reason we call termite is because when I first got it, it had rust holes all over it. And so I called it termite, you know, like eat up, but it don't have any rust holes anymore. So is it still termite? It's still termite, but you know what I'm saying. Like the name is not as applicable as it once was when I first got it. So anyway, all right guys, well, that's gonna wrap up our video, and sadly, what may be our last video with termite on this channel. It's been a very bittersweet time doing this repair, and ever since we decided we were going to list it, it's been bittersweet. But yeah, this may be it. Well, we don't know. Well, we don't know what the future holds. But anyway, there he is. I'm gonna let it sit overnight, rest of the day. I'm not gonna wash it today, but tomorrow I'll get out here and give her a bath. So thank you guys for watching. I never heard anything from the lady that crashed. I just left all of her parts up there in case they come back through and get it. But I don't know. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll see y'all later.